When it comes to picking a certain part of the song to sample, if all else fails, you can always depend on this, and it will never fail you. The intro, the pre-hook, the hook, the bridge, and the outro. If you focus on those, you will always be able to sample something. What it do, y'all? This Moan on the Beat. I'm about to show y'all my sampling process. I use this formula to chop up every sample on this old school loop pack, and I use this formula for any sample that I chop up. So take heed, tune in. I'm not gonna give y'all no fluff. I'm gonna get straight to it. Let's go. The first thing I do is I find a song to sample. I pick a song from either the 70s, the 80s, or the 90s. Those songs tend to have the most feeling and the most power when it comes to sampling. Those songs also utilize a lot of band instruments. Those songs also utilize a lot of organic sounds, and I love to sample from that. On top of that, they have arrangements that you can find certain spots in the song to sample from. I either pick R&B, neo soul, jazz, funk, or disco. Those tend to be the best songs to sample. The songs that I pick, they have to have some sort of singing in them. It could be done by a woman or a man, but the singing touches my soul, and it's gonna touch yours, and it's gonna touch the person that's listening. So you always wanna pick a song that has some sort of singing. It don't gotta be all the time, but if you're looking for that feeling and you're looking for that power in your song or in that beat that you're creating with the sample, pick something with somebody singing. All right, the song we're gonna use to sample from is a song called Remind Me, one of my favorites by Patrice Rushen. And this song is from the 80s. It's also a song with singing. It's also a song done live with a band. So you're gonna get to see the elements I was talking about. This is a song right here. While the song is playing, I'm already picking up in my mind what parts I can sample, you know what I mean? What parts stand out to me? What parts instruments are playing by itself? Which parts the vocals stand out? I'm like, okay. Taking it all in. We gonna let it ride to the hook. Voice. Now I'm feeling certain vocals. I'm like, damn, okay. You feel that? So while the song was playing, I already picked up at least 10 different ways you could sample this. But I ain't gonna show y'all 10 different ways. I'm gonna show y'all kind of like 5 different ways. All right, the first thing I do after I listen to it, I think to myself if I wanna pitch it up or pitch it down. So we're gonna play around with it to see what type of vibe we get from each one. So this is what it sounds like pitched up. Let's go up probably like, let's turn it up about, let's pitch it up to like 2 or something like that. Let's see. That's pitched up. Let's probably, it's a little fast, so let's go, let's pitch to a 1. I really like that groove. I like that feel right there. Now, once I think I have my pitch together, I then go to a part in the song that has some singing so I can see if the feeling of that either pitched up or down talks to me. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm about to do that. Let's find a part real quick. I like that feeling. Now I got my pitch. Now I feel like I'm ready to get on to the certain parts that I heard when I was listening to it and sample those parts. When it comes to picking a certain part of the song to sample, if all else fails, you can always depend on this and it will never fail you. The intro, the pre-hook, the hook, the bridge, and the outro. If you focus on those, you will always be able to sample something. The songs that I've mentioned from those time periods, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, they all have a certain arrangement that allows you to do such. So even if you just heard this, you could easily hear that the intro played by itself with just a beat, and that was a band. That could easily be used as a sample. This is what it was right here. That can be used as a sample. You can do a lot with that. The part that comes after that is this. You can do a lot with that. You can put a beat on top of that. You can put vocals on top of that. You can make this your own beat. Now that is the intro. Next, you have the pre-hook. If you couldn't find anything in the intro, try to sample something from the pre-hook. The pre-hook would probably be like 4 bars or 8 bars before the hook, depending on how long the verse is. Typically 4 bars, but this is what I consider the pre-hook. I would take the Star Bright, Star Bright. You can sample that too. And that's going into the hook. That's why this is called a pre-hook. But from that, I would just use this. You can do a lot with that. And then I also heard star. I would use that. So even that, you could use that. So in that pre-hook, just find any part in there where she's singing or where she's saying a phrase, anything like that, sample that, put that on your pad. The next thing you want to sample is the hook. The hook, 9 times out of 10, is the best part of the song. It's the most catchy part of the song, and it makes you feel the song. That's what you really fall in love with. And for old school samples, that is the best part to sample. So for this particular song, this is the hook. Now for this particular track, I broke the hook down, so I have the hook on 2 different pads so I can control it. Because it might be one part of the beat where I just want the front part of the hook, and it might be another part of the beat where I want the end hook. So I got it on 2 pads, and these are the 2 pads that I got it on. Now the next part of a song you want to sample is the bridge. Now the bridge is my favorite part of the song, and that's the part of the song that kind of opens up. It's almost like a sunrise, and it makes you feel the most powerful emotion of that song. And you know, a lot of new age songs don't really have bridges like that, but it seems like every song back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they all had bridges. That's actually how I really fell in love with it, listening to those songs. The bridge on this song, she swapped up what she was saying, and then it went into a solo, and it seems like it's some sort of guitar solo. So this is what it was right here. You could do a lot with that. Bridge. But you don't gotta use the whole thing, you know, obviously you could chop it and put it and alter it how you wanna alter it. You get what I'm saying? All right, so the last part of the song you can sample is the outro. The outro speaks for itself. It's kind of like the last part of the song before the song ends out. And a lot of times there's something different going on there that's cool to sample. Now let's hear what we got right here with this jump. Alright, there you go. So it seems like on this outro, she's singing something differently, and it swaps up a little bit, and she's giving you some ad-libs. The shit sound dope, and this is it right here. One more time. But now that I'm listening to it, what I would sample is this. And I would bring it back. You know what I'm saying? Vibe. And there you have it. With these tips, you can sample anything. And if all else fails, this formula will always work. Especially with the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s tracks. They all kind of follow this formula. Now there's also more to like sampling when you get kind of like advanced. I mean, you could sample inside of the verses. You could take the end part of the loop. There's so many different ways. I just wanted to give you an introduction to how to sample, where to sample, and what to sample if you just learning how to do it. You get what I'm saying? You also, when you get deep into it, this is gonna be in another video, to get that pristine kind of like sound to where it doesn't sound like the music is in the background, you have to take out the bass and then you have to put a filter on it. When you do that, that creates like a whole nother sound. And obviously you have to EQ it, add some reverb to get it sounding crispy. But that's in another video. Moan on the beat here, and yeah, I love y'all. Thanks for the support. If you haven't got the old school loop pack, make sure you grab it ASAP because it's litty. Holla at me.